From starting as a child, I've been coming here for 60 years. Nothing has happened, and now the Prime Minister's residence is also shifting. What security concern is there? I think this is just fictitious.
बड़ा elite club है और government को अपना सोचना पड़ेगा कि ये club को चालू रखना है.
I've been a third generation member of Delhi Gymkhana Club and I was pretty appalled when I saw this notice.
और इस तरह से एकाएक नोटिस दे देना ये उचित नहीं है और डिफेंस के नाम पर, सिक्योरिटी के नाम पर मुनासिब नहीं है.
These spaces seem to be shrinking, which is a pity.
दिल्ली के रहने वालों के लिए जिमखाना एक संस्कृति थी. तमाम शादियां होती थी, तमाम कार्यक्रम होते थे, एक संस्कृति थी.
It's got an outstanding library और बहुत बड़े पैमाने पर मेंबर्स जो हैं लाइब्रेरी का इस्तेमाल करते हैं रोज. सिविल सर्विसेज वाले जो बच्चे हैं वो लाइब्रेरी के एयर कंडीशन में बैठ के रोज तैयारी कर रहे होते हैं. कम से कम 8 से 10 बच्चे रोज ब्यूरोक्रेट्स के बच्चे हैं, पॉलिटिशियन के बच्चे हैं, आर्म फोर्स के बच्चे हैं जो वहाँ बैठ के तैयारी कर रहे होते हैं.
Viewers, the government of India wants the Delhi Gymkhana Club to return the 27 acres land it has. The government has cited public interest, defense infrastructure and security requirements. Predictably, the notice by the government has led to an absolute meltdown by people who want you to believe, and you heard some of them, that their Sunday brunch, their tennis game, squash, their childhood memories are more important than the security of all of us, of 140 crore Indians. Viewers, I beg your indulgence this evening because we need to look at this carefully. The Delhi Gymkhana Club was born in 1913. By now you know this. The British gave themselves this land. The British built this club for themselves to sip their gin and tonics and play tennis, squash, what have you, while they ruled over us. And when the British left in 1947, they dropped the word imperial from the name. But that's all. There is no azadi from the imperial mindset. The same exclusive, closed door, who do you know culture simply changed hands from British officers to India's own ruling elite. So let's be very clear about what this place is. This is not some national institution. It is not open to you. It is not open to your children. It is a private fiefdom on public land for a self-selected elite who decided that some people belong here and most people don't. That's all. And now when the government of India says we need this land back, these very same people are suddenly invoking heritage, history, childhood memories, and everything else under the sun to resist. Viewers, I've been reading the chatter on social media. One senior figure described the development as unfortunate and tragic, arguing that the club represents far more than just valuable real estate and that its sporting heritage and memories deserved careful preservation. Then there is this argument that why suddenly, why now? And if you're so committed to national interest, why not take away the Delhi Golf Club? Why not do the same with all clubs, etc., etc.? Viewers, this is the oldest deflection in the political playbook. It's like, the logic given by the pickpocket who when caught says, hey, what about the others? All the others you haven't caught. Viewers, if tomorrow the government determines that another club's land is needed and that land happens to be government land, it will act there too. But the fact that it hasn't acted everywhere is not a reason to act nowhere. It doesn't work like that. The club's defenders, viewers, have also said something audacious. They are essentially asking for proof. Show us why you need this land. Tell us what defense infrastructure you plan to build. Give us the details. Justify yourself to us. Now, viewers, just imagine that is the expectation now. That the government of India must publish a map of its security installations. That the Ministry of Defense must hold a press conference and explain exactly what it plans to build and where and why, so that the club members, the honorable club members, can decide whether the reason is good enough for them to vacate a swimming pool on a land they do not own. No one owns this land. This land belongs to the government, was leased to the Gymkhana Club. Viewers, in what world does national security require the approval of a Gymkhana committee? The government has stated that the land is located in a highly sensitive and strategic area of national capital and is critically required for strengthening defense infra, public security and other urgent governance related projects. That is enough. That has to be enough. Because if India's security agencies have to explain their, operational requirements to a club general committee before they can act, then God help our country, viewers. The government has also been perfectly legal in this action. The government order specifically invokes clause 4 of the original lease deed that permits re-entry, that's the word, if the land is required for a public purpose. This clause was always there. It was always known. The club signed up for a lease, not for permanent ownership. And there is a fundamental difference between the two. The club is located on a land on a perpetual lease from the central government. The word lease means it belongs to someone else. It has always belonged to someone else. You were always the tenants. Very well fed, I must say, very comfortable, very privileged tenants, but tenants nonetheless. And now the landlord, in this case the government of India, says move, and you're outraged. Viewers, I'm talking to everyone, the esteemed members, their supporters, as also to those who've never been inside the Delhi Gymkhana Club, who could never get in even if they wanted to, whose children will never swim in that pool or play on those tennis courts. The people who are objecting to the government notice are defending privilege. Viewers, government has the legal right, the moral authority, and the national duty to reclaim what is India's when India needs it. So without any delay, let's just open this up. Tushar Gupta, Professor Dr. Sanjeev Bagai, Lieutenant General Rajinder Singh, former DG Infantry member of Gymkhana Club, is also the former member of the General Committee Gymkhana Club, Ojaswi Makan, young erudite advocate, Ashwini Kumar Mishra ji, leader of the Congress Party, Dr. Piyush Joshi, spokesperson of the Aam Aadmi Party, and Dr. Ranganathan completes the panel. Dr. Bagai, before I come to you, let me start with General Singh. General Singh, good evening, good to have you. Why is there so much outrage, hue and cry if I can add, over the government notice to reclaim its own land?
Firstly, thank you very much. I would like to thank your channel for having invited me over. But I thought it was going to be a discussion between the experts and the normal citizens of the country, and not involving political parties. But I find that you have the members of the political parties also here. But anyway, having said that, I would like to mention one or two things. You have given in your long introduction a number of things which gives me or which conveys to me that probably I am anti-national. Let me tell you, sir, that all of us, all the members of Gymkhana Club, most of whom are the serving and retired armed forces officers, serving and retired IAS, IFS, IRS and other government servants who have served their nations with complete dedication and with the best of our ability. Many of us who are the members of this Gymkhana Club have laid down their lives for the country in the various wars that our country has fought. This is not an issue about any imperial impact. It is not an issue on that. As far as the defense of the country is concerned, if something is required for the defense, I would like to hereby openly state that we will go out of our way to do our damnedest best, to do everything to safeguard the territorial integrity and the defense of this country. But having said this, I would like to mention 3-4 points. In the Luton's Delhi, when this complete area was being formed and the township was being created, the lands were given to various people. That included some of these big businessmen like Birlas, Dalmias and others. And it also included an organization called Delhi Gymkhana Club Limited. Now, this is a company which is registered under the Companies Act, and it paid the market value for a lease deed, which was actually the norm. It was not being given freehold to anybody. So we were also not given that. We were, what I understand is that we were given this not on 40 years lease or 50 years lease or even 99 years lease. This lease was a perpetual lease.
I said that, General Saab. I think you missed the word perpetual when I said it. I said the two words perpetual, but it ends with the word lease. And in the lease document, clause 4 clearly says that when the government needs the land, you will have to give it back. But I just want to pick on the one point that you said, General Saab.
No, let me finish first. Let me finish first. Please let me finish.
Go ahead, sir. Go ahead. Make your point, please. You're saying the same thing again and again, General. Make your point.
No, I'm not saying you are intervening all the time. I'm not a politician. I don't have any agenda of my own. I would only like to mention one thing, that if I can't hear you, I'm sorry.
Sir, I am not speaking. How will you hear me? You are speaking, sir. I can hear you.
Okay, just give me 1 minute. Just 1 minute is what I asked. Don't interrupt in between, please, sir. I would like to only mention this lease was given to us. This lease was given to us, which was a perpetual lease, not a term lease. That is point number 1. Point number 2 is that this club is basically a sports club. Third, the point number 3 is that this club has been formed in which the pillars of your governance, those fellows who are part of that have been the members of this club. This club is like Civil Services Officers Institute. This club is like Defense Services Officers Institute. So for heaven's sake, stop calling us anti-national. We are ready to do anything which is required for the defense of our country. But we feel that a fair deal has not been given to us. A government cannot arbitrarily say that in 12 days you move out. Clause 4, out you go, no money is to be paid. This club never took a penny from the government. It has run on its own money.
When you have 27 acres of land, on top of it you want money from the government? I mean, what argument is that, General Saab? I have regards for your service, but do you realize what you're saying? And when you've listed all these clubs, Civil Services Club, etc., when those clubs are already there, why do you need this Gymkhana Club then? And just to pick on the point you made that if the government needs it, if the country requires it, we will do it. Then this is the time the government has told you the country needs it. Come forward, sign whatever letters you have to and give it. Where is the argument? Dr. Ranganathan, what do you make of this? Why are you denying, people who've served our country, whether they are army veterans or, military veterans or, retired IAS, IPS officers?
Good evening, Pranesh, and good evening to my fellow panelists. Whatever I say, can I beforehand just say that on this panel there are 3 absolute heroes that India is and always will be proud of: General Singh, Dr. Bagai, and Dr. Joshi. They have defended us. They have willingly, offered to lay their lives down for us. So I am eternally grateful. But I need to say this. Why are folks throwing a fit? Delhi Gymkhana is a private club. Nobody is taking away your membership of it. Just that, leave aside security concerns. I'm sorry, taxpayers are no longer willing to subsidize to the tune of tens of thousands of crores your stale cutlets and chlorinated evening trims. 27,000 crores is the market rate of the Delhi Gymkhana Club land. You are paying 1,000 rupees a month for it. It is shocking that this went on for this long. Chor chor musere bhai, perhaps every government is criminally culpable, including this one. And these talentless, entitled, embassy, kitty party, groom, property dealing darbaris and brown sepoys are in full nuclear meltdown because their precious little Raj imitation club with naphthalene-less urinals is being taken over. My. How will these taxpayer leeches endure without their private government subsidized bunker where they indulge in overpriced gin-soaked circle jerk of dangling conversations while the rest of the billion odd actually work and make something of this country? Quick, wheel out the fainting couch and hand panka. Talking of nuclear, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam was never made a member of the Delhi Gymkhana Club, even though a road named after him runs a few feet away from it. These itself tells you the club's credibility. Look, the fire lit by erstwhile Congress zamindars has singed the minds of their progeny so completely that nothing grows on it at charred landscape except entitlement. Amusement, how these darbaris are bringing in silly excuses to counter legitimate eviction. Number one, this club is right next to the Prime Minister residence and therefore, obviously, there are security concerns. Number two, no one is denying you the right to restart this silly club at a different location and screen and admit whichever social climber you want. Go ahead. Number three, despite it in private club, it is sitting on 28 acres of the most expensive land in India and paying a pittance for it in rent. Number four, Pranesh, give me some time because the issue is deeper, more psychological. You need to understand that Rome wasn't built in a day, and so it follows that neither was the sense of entitlement of the Romans. Veni, vidi, vinci, I came, I married, I inherited. You see, the departing British handed over to the native something magical, his own land. The native received that land with watery eyes and a lump in his throat, and now that he had the government sanction and the constitutional right to walk on the soft lawns, smell the flowers, collect the jamuns, drive on the boulevards, now that he was free, he quickly made it his and only his. And over the years, many of the Lutyens' bungalows, the Gymkhana Club being one, have become imposing shrines of refuge away from the heat and dust of India, with the accompanying green acreage giving way to swimming pools paved with Italian marble, all to the delight and satisfaction of the victorious. There they sit. You cannot see them, but fenced away as they are by stitched up cane, but there they are, perched on rattan in their manicured lawns, sipping their tea brought to them by kamarband servants. There they sit, and from there they dream to rule. And when they return once more to the basic elements they were molded from, as must we all, their next of kin will miraculously get the same bungalow to live in, the same club to eat their cutlets for the next 50 years. And 1,000 years from now, when archaeologists stumble upon the mythical city of Delhi, the most well-preserved ruins they shall find would be of Lutyens' Pompeii. The tumblers and the vases of a dynasty will once again be on show in a memorial cum museum that was once a Lutyens' bungalow.
Dr. Ranganathan, would you say the same thing if, the Gymkhana Club offered you a membership right now? Would you withdraw your... Or let me flip the argument. If you withdraw, you will get the membership.
Pradesh, I have said this before. A private club can offer a membership and I might take it, choose to take it. Although, like what Marx said, Groucho Marx, I will refuse to take the membership of a club that offers me one.
Okay. Dr. Bagai, you are also a member, sir.
Hi, good evening, Pranesh. Good evening, everyone. So, speaking after Anand is always a tough task, but I will put my bit forward. And thank you, Anand, for those kind words. So, the situation in the Delhi Gymkhana Club is a little bit more complex. So, just allow me a couple of minutes and I'll tell you, break it up into 4 quick parts. Yes, it's a heritage building. It's 113 years old. It carries a legacy of great architecture. It carries a history behind it. And everyone knows that if we don't look after yesterday's history, then tomorrow will always remain a mystery. So there is a way forward in this. I think we should preserve the legacy. But having said that, there are a couple of important points as to address. And unless until the members of Delhi Gymkhana Club don't introspect, we will never find any answer for this. What has gone wrong? It has not gone wrong right now. It has gone wrong for the past couple of decades. The entire aspect of the green card and UPC and dependent memberships has not been rectified by the AGM, and it is therefore, according to the memorandum of articles, not correct. What has this perpetuated is father gives a membership to a son, goes to a grandson, and it actually obliterates anyone else's entry into the membership drive. At the present moment, the membership waiting period is about 35 years, what is being mentioned. The reality is more than 50 years. Huge amount of lakhs of rupees is taken as an initial deposit or a registration or vying for a membership, and it remains in the interest of the Gymkhana Club over decades, whether you get the membership or you don't get the membership. A classical example is if a person at the age of 30, which is about the time when a person has a little bit of money collected to vie for a membership, if he is to wait for 50 to 60 years, probably he's not going to get the membership in this lifetime. More importantly, this entire episode, because of irregularities, and I'm mentioning this again.
Dr. Bagai, can I interrupt, please? I just want to ask you one question. How did you become a member? When did you become a member? How long did it take for you to become a member?
I'll answer that question just in a second, Pranesh. There were two independent audits which were conducted. One was by CAG and the other was by a company known as Deloitte. Why are these reports not made public? We know that there were financial irregularities. We know that there was administrative lapses. Therefore, it went into what we call as NCLT. NCLT appointed a government-appointed administrator to look after it for 5 or 6 years. So I think it's high time that the system needs a cleanup. I myself had to wait for more than a couple of decades before I got a membership, which was about 10 or 15 or 20 years back. The issue is, at the present moment, this is a closed circuit. If you want the system to improve, the system must be cleaned up. Now, the point number 3 is the government order. I would say probably it's too short a time. There are 600 employees. We have to look after them. There are contracts which are ongoing. We have to look after that. And of course, there is a membership, and people have paid huge sums of money. So there's a legal aspect. I'm not going into that. Who's going to compensate and how? Last, most importantly, is when it comes to national security issue, then it becomes a blanket statement. So the viewing lens is completely different. My overall take is, instead of amputating, let's first treat the disease.
Now, Dr. Bagai, I'm sorry to say, but you know, you're talking about financial irregularities. Being a member of this club, I think your membership is is under threat anyway. By the time the show ends, you might get a WhatsApp or SMS. I don't know how the Gymkhana committee operates. Wo mail aayega aapko, sir. You will lose your membership. Let me bring in Ojasvi here. Ojasvi, good evening. Good to have you. What do you, for the layman, what is this episode about? What's the fuss about?
See, I'll stick to the legal issues involved. Now, as you rightly said, this lease is a perpetual lease. Now, what that means is that in case of a perpetual lease, and now there are multiple Supreme Court judgments which clarify this point. In case of a perpetual lease, you cannot determine or terminate the lease based on a notice by itself. You have to file a suit before the adequate or the appropriate authority terminating the lease. In this case, a show cause notice was not issued, a suit was not filed. All of a sudden, a notice was issued asking them to terminate the premises within 2 weeks. Now, as you rightly said, Clause 4 allows them to terminate the lease. That is undisputed. If the land is to be used for a public purpose, then the government can terminate it. The question is how they can terminate it. A notice by itself is not sufficient. And as Mr. Bagai also pointed out, Clause 4 requires the company to be compensated. The notice is completely silent about that as well. There's not a whisper about the company being compensated for the buildings they've erected or the premium that they paid. Now, one more point which perhaps everyone's overlooking, and this is covered by the Industrial Disputes Act, that there are more than 500 individuals working in the club. They constitute statutory workmen as per provisions of the Industrial Disputes Act, and they cannot be terminated or dismissed without giving adequate notice, without them being compensated. This is very clear as per provisions of sections 25F and 25H of the Act. Now, these are the two main points on which the notice will be challenged before the Honorable Delhi High Court. And unless a remedy or answer is given by the union to these 2 points, I don't think the notice is legally tenable.
No, that I understand. I agree with you. Follow all the procedure that there is, you know, if the law says that give us a show cause notice, etc., etc. I'm not getting there. You know, that the courts will look after. But the fundamental problem was this, you know, this narrative being created. Look, we have our childhood memories attached to the club, you know, sporting heritage, etc. Because we've served the country, we need this club. That is where my problem is. Dr. Ranganathan, Tushar, okay, Dr. Ranganathan, yes, quick point. Tushar, I'm coming to you right after this.
Very briefly to my very dear friend Ojaswi, who's saying that the Gymkhana Club has to be compensated. I'm aghast. Who is going to compensate the taxpayers for the tens of thousands of crores that they are owed by this private club? Number two, you know my stand, you know, as far as our military heroes are concerned. So let me just say this straight up. I have absolutely no issues if the Delhi Gymkhana Club is transformed into a property that is to be exclusively used by our military personnel and their near and dear ones. This is, I would see, as a perk for them, for the services they have rendered. But not IAS officers, IAS officers, not everyone. Otherwise, where do you stop the buck? Why aren't doctors who are working right now at AIMS 18 hours a day? Why should they also not be given a membership? So the problem is that you are selectively choosing only the kind of clientele that you want for the club, and that is wrong because it is a
But Dr.
government
Ranganathan,
land.
on the compensation question that you had for Ojaswi, let me try and answer that. That question has to be answered by the government. The government must compensate, and like you said, successive governments have allowed this loop to go on. So how can they ask the Delhi Gymkhana Club to compensate? The government has to compensate, but the government is not interested in it. Tushar.
A lot of points I want to make, Pranesh. Firstly, the point about that the club serves the people who actually serve the nation. As of this date, there are 1.25 million active soldiers. Assuming the permanent membership at 5,600, the Delhi Gymkhana Club only represents 0.004% of the military personnel. I heard that the club represents India's governance structure. There are 14 million people in government jobs in India. So even at 5,600 permanent members, the Delhi Gymkhana Club represents 0.0004% of the public servants. So let's not confuse Delhi Gymkhana as a place which serves the interests of the military who have served this nation or the public servants. It does none of it. It does it very, very exclusively. Now, point number three, someone said about the 600 people working there. The club is made up of who's and who's, the elites of Delhi, the best of Delhi, as they claim. Are you telling me that 5,600 well-connected people, permanent members of the club, cannot arrange for alternative employment prospects for 600 people? The club, which wants the government to compensate with an alternative land parcel, cannot even arrange for 600 new employment prospects for the people who have served them in this club for years and years. Number four, people are saying this club is over 100 years old and it's a part of the heritage and it's a part of the institutionalization of this country. The temples in this land are 1,000 years old. Much of the temples are more than 1,000 years old. So if we have to start with anything, let's start with the temples first. Why a private club? Number five, retain the exclusivity of the club, retain the operations of the club. But the land still belongs to the government of India. That part cannot change. The members who were waiting for 30 years or paying 30 lakh rupees knew that the land on which the club was based was actually leased out by the government. It always belonged to the government. That fact can never change. Today, you can throw around all the sentimental arguments, but the fact remains that the land belongs to the government. Number six, the government is not obligated to explain to the club why it needs the land. It's very, very clear. The government on the security front owes no explanation to the members of the club. Number seven, Pranesh, if today a club is compensated through land parcels elsewhere, tomorrow, what will you tell a slum dweller who's asked to vacate his illegally occupied land? Though this is not an illegally occupied land, let's be very clear. But if a leased land or a leased tenant has to be compensated elsewhere, then that will strike a new precedent in the relationship between a landlord and a tenant. Where does it stop? What kind of precedent are we creating here that the government needs to explain to the club why it's a private club? I do not want to get into the functioning of the club. I do not care who they enroll, who they do not. But the government doesn't owe any explanation to the club.
Ojasvi was raising his hand. He has something to say on the compensation bit, if I'm not wrong. Yes, Ojasvi.
I have 2 points. Everyone here has been talking about the membership and the administration of the club. The notice is completely silent on that aspect. The only ground taken by the government is clause 4. That's why I was restricted with step to clause 4. All other issues relating to membership and all has to be raised separately. Now, secondly, in terms of, I think Mr. Gupta raised the point about the members compensating the workers, but that's not what the Act says. The Act says that the employer must compensate the workers working there. It's not the member's responsibility to provide for alternate employment.
So even as a goodwill gesture, no, hold on, Pranesh. Even as a goodwill gesture, are we being told that the members cannot arrange for 600 alternate employment prospects to the people who have actually served them? And also one final point, Pranesh. Someone was probably saying that it's a heritage building and it cannot be demolished. Please let's be very clear, this is not an ASI notified building. This is a Delhi Heritage notified building. This is not a building that has been notified by the Archaeological Survey of India. So let's keep that distinction very, very clear.
Okay, Dr. Joshi, I'm just coming to you. Ojasvi, are you a member of the club here, or anyone in your family is a member here?
I am not a member. No one from my family is a member of the club.
Okay, do you wish to take up membership?
I don't have any desire to take up membership.
Okay, that was just an aside. Yeah, Dr. Joshi, the Aam Aadmi Party of all parties, the party that began by promising austerity and whatnot, said Wagoner will be our, the main vehicle in the cavalcade. That party is backing the, opposing the government notice.
Well, let me explain, Pranesh, why we are opposing the government's notice, because we doubt the government's intention. When Prime Minister was campaigning for the elections in Delhi, and when the Home Minister was campaigning for the municipal corporations elections in Delhi, they promised the people of Delhi one thing: Jahan juggi, wahan makan. And what did they do after coming to power? They demolished various clusters, various slum dwellers. Sangam Vihar, Shram Vihar, Badarpur Basti, Ambedkar Nagar, Majnu Ka Tila, Juggi Jopdi clusters. The government owes an explanation to them, because those are the real people who elected them. Now, as far as this is concerned, I'm amazed and aghast at the absence of the Bharatiya Janata Party.
Dr. Joshi, we have an issue in your line.
जब गरीबों की बात होती है ना प्रणेश, तब तो कोई समस्या नहीं होती ना, तब तो तोड़ने के लिए और भारतीय जनता पार्टी के सारे जितने भी प्रवक्ता हैं वो रोज आ जाते हैं.
Question. I can't answer for the BJP here. The BJP spokesperson is not here. You're right in pointing that out. But let me just ask you, what will you tell the Aam Aadmi? Because this is about, like Dr. Ranganathan said, about the taxpayer money. 1,000 rupees lease for 27 acres. You are the Aam Aadmi Party, sir. What will you tell the Aam Aadmi?
Okay. No, because exactly I am very well aware of what I am going to tell the Aam Aadmi. It's very simple. If the land is needed for national security purposes, very well go ahead and take it. Because
where is the if then? The government notice says the government is saying it is needed for national security. So why are you adding the if?
No. I am adding the if because जब झुग्गी तोड़ी जा रही थी तब भारतीय जनता पार्टी के प्रवक्ते थे. I believe that this government is for the elite, by the elite, and it is a crony capitalist government backed by the same person. So don't worry, no spokesperson will come defending this government's order. No spokesperson will come officially on any channel saying that we need this land. And ultimately in the court, I am positive.
So this is not
the government
about the BJP. This is the government of India through the president, or the president through the government of India. Dr. Joshi, you're confusing the two issues. Don't do that. Dr. Ranganathan.
No, first of all, I think Dr. Joshi is absolutely right. जहां झुग्गी वहीं मकान होने चाहिए. जो केजरीवाल जी का शीश महल है अभी वहां पे 500 झुग्गी should be erected illegally, and after 2 years that should be legalized, and those 500 people should be staying where Kejriwal is right now. ये कर देते ना 10 साल में, क्यों नहीं किया? But now, let me get very serious. And as I said, I have great reverence and respect for Lieutenant General Singh. I want to ask him, will he apologize, sir? Please don't mind my language. Will you apologize that only 1 in every 100 military personnel has been given the club membership? According to you, should every military personnel in India should have been made a member? Yes or no, sir?
General Saab, if you can hear Dr. Ranganathan and if you want to answer that question.
Yes, I would like to answer this question. Firstly, I would like to say that I just want 1.5 minutes of uninterrupted time, which as you give to Dr. Ranganathan. Firstly, what I see is that this particular issue is being made an issue for the elites, an issue about the political correctness of one party vis-a-vis the other. It is not the case. What I understand from the various members of the Gymkhana Club, like the armed forces and probably the bureaucracy, we are a fairly political environment. There is a fairly political environment there. Secondly, what we are talking of is what our advocate from the Supreme Court was talking, that is Ojasvi, that anything which is to be done must be done by a rule of law. It just cannot be, we need it for defense, come grab it. No, it is not done. I was Chief of Staff of Northern Command. We had established a lot of posts on the borders. Whatever we had to do, we acquired that land, paid compensation and did. There are acts, there are laws which are there on these subjects, and I'm sure there are better persons to answer that. Only thing which I expect from our government, and particularly this government, about which we have a great amount of regard, they have done the country proud. They have really lifted the image of the country in the world. Today we are one of the strongest countries in the world. We expect justice. Justice is that it should be fair. By this logic, that today this land costs so much, this same land was given on lease to various other institutions on
I said that in my introduction, sir. Just because, you know, somewhere else the government does not need the land does not mean it can't ask for the land that it needs. But just to, you know, underline the question by Dr. Ranganathan, don't you think all people who serve in the military deserve the right to be the member if they want to be? No one should force them, but if they want to be. General, sir?
You see, the point which I would like to make is, firstly, as far as the various officers' institutes as well as the clubs are concerned, this is a strange logic. Because
this is not just about officers. No, for every soldier, from Subedar, Naib Subedar, everyone who serves the country, because they also serve the country. You can't have, you know, hierarchy in service to the country. I understand the rank, but service is service.
Sir, if you have already made up your mind, why call me? Why call me? You go ahead and say whatever you have to. I have said whatever I had to say.
General Singh,
and if you don't agree with me,
that's okay,
fine,
sir. We are not here. We can agree to disagree, but I want you to take a position. You can either say yes or no. Should every soldier, you know, veteran be made a member? Yes or no? It should only be for lieutenant general and above, or brigadier colonel, or only for, you know, commissioned officers?
No, but the Gymkhana Club has members of all ranks. It has majors, it has colonels, it has generals. Similarly,
they are officers. I am talking about the soldier. If a Subedar, Naib Subedar wants to be a member, if he wants to go swimming in the pool in the Delhi Gymkhana Club, will you hold his hand, take him inside, accompany him to the pool and give him the membership or help him get one?
My clerk in the Central Secretariat, he wants to go and dive into the swimming pool of Civil Services Officers Institute. Are you allowing it? You are not. So you have separate institutes.
Sir, that is for civil service officers. Sir, what are you saying? You are, General, saying, I'm sorry to say, but you don't realize what you're saying. And that's the problem. Dr. Ranganathan, one simple question, the general can't answer that. Here, and he began by talking about service, etc., etc. Salute to years of service by everyone.
Can I just say this with utmost humility? I'm very disappointed in the good general, because what I expected of him was when he said that we have proudly served the nation and that is why we are in the Delhi Gymkhana Club. I asked him a simple question. 1.5 million military personnel down from the general to the Jawan have also served this nation proudly. Shouldn't all of them be members of the Delhi Gymkhana Club? To that he says, no, I'm sorry, but I'm disappointed in you, General. Please pardon me.
I am not saying that this club is meant for everyone. I'm not saying that.
Then, no, 1 minute. Who decides this club is meant for whom, sir? General Saab, who decides? Who decides this? You've been member of the committee. What were you? You were the former member of the General Committee, Gymkhana Club. The committee decides.
आप बात तो करना चाह. Yes, no, the articles of association decide, which has been approved by the Companies Act. What are you talking, yaar?
जनरल साहब, तो ये आर्टिकल ऑफ एसोसिएशन तो आप लोगों ने ही ड्राफ्ट किया होगा ना. इफ यू वांट अनदर आर्टिकल इंसर्टेड, इज इट सो डिफिकल्ट? आप बोल दीजिए, आई एम नॉट आस्किंग यू टू ग्रांट मेंबरशिप, बट इन प्रिंसिपल यू शुड अग्री टू इट, बिकॉज इवन द जवान सर्व्स द कंट्री. तुषार,
नो,
दिस इज एन
एलीट क्लब. Here is the proof.
You know, I did not want to get into the elitism of the club because that's not necessary to the legal viewpoint, but the comments by Lieutenant General make it very hard to ignore. They do not want to admit it that it's an exclusive club, but they want to run it like an exclusive club. I do not understand where the part about compensation even comes from. The estate is valued at 50,000 crore rupees as per market value. They are paying 80 rupees per month as lease. What compensation here? A compensation is paid to someone who owns that piece of land, owns it. They are on a lease. I don't know how these things are even the same. So what kind of compensation are they demanding? It's a very simple thing. 5,600 permanent members want to run an exclusive club across 27 acres in the heart of the national capital next to the Prime Minister's residence. The government wants the land back. They have to give it back. It's that simple.
No, but Tushar, I think Ojasvi was trying to underline the fact that compensation for those who paid hefty, amount of money to, to the tune, I don't know, 10 lakhs, 12 lakhs. Dr. Bagai, how much did you pay?
I paid a few thousands almost 20 years back. But Pranesh, I have a larger point, just 60 seconds, please. The issue is that all this mess has been self-created by the member committees sequentially over years. If you are wanting to run any institution, there are three fundamental factors: governance, transparency, and accountability. We've had 2 audit reports. None of them have been shared in public. The audit reports themselves have mentioned irregularities. That's why it went to NCLT. We should address the core issue. We should hold who's responsible for landing up into this mess.
No, I get it, and I'm really glad that you're being candid here, because it's rare to see a member expose the irregularity in the club. So congratulations to you for speaking your mind. But that's a separate issue, transparency, etc. internally. Here, when when the notice says this is about national security, it ends there. Where is the debate? I agree on the procedure bit. Show cause के लिए अगर provision है तो show cause दे दो. Ojasvi, yes.
See, I was referring to clause 4 of the lease. The very same clause which allows the government to terminate the lease also says that the government must compensate the company for the premium they paid back in 1928. In 1928, they paid around 8,000 rupees as premium for the lease. They must be compensated for that, A. B, they must be compensated for the buildings they've erected. That's the point of compensation I was referring to, and that's a contractual provision as per the lease.
Okay. Yes, Dr. Ranganathan, yes.
पहली बात तो ये है, आर्बिट रूल बना दिए और अब 100 साल तक कह रहे हो जो अंग्रेजों ने बनाए थे वो हमें फॉलो करने हैं. तो भाई आर्टिकल 370 भी फॉलो करते फिर. नंबर 2, the only core issue is how on earth is a private club, and as I already started by saying this, you are free to run your club anywhere in India, provided you pay the market rate for the land the club is erected on. Here you are.
I think the general is saying something. Yes, General Saab.
यार
बोलिए सर, हम सुन पा रहे हैं आपको, बोलिए।
यार क्या नाम है इनका?
जनरल साहब बोलिए।
Can I leave, sir? I have got to go to another channel.
Okay, sir, please go. Please go, sir, please. Okay.
Pranesh,
thank you, General Saab. Thank you for your service to the country and thank you for your time.
Absolutely. As I was saying, it's a private club. Tomorrow, if I start a private club, for example, I will choose whoever member I want in that club. That's fine by me. That's how clubs operate the world over. But no club is operating for 80 years on 27,000 crores worth of property, paying 1,000 rupees a month. That is what is sacrilege out here.
That is, but Dr. Ranganathan, that sacrilege is on that is on part of the government. The government must be held accountable. Only the government. You can't fault the members here or the club because they were allowed a free run. किसको मजा आता है पैसे देने में? डॉक्टर बगाई ने कुछ हजार रुपए दिए, वो मेंबर बने हुए। Obviously, he imagine the courage it takes to expose the irregularities, but he has put it down. Now, Ashwini ji, you have to listen to something before I get you to answer my question. Listen to your own Neta. This is Rashid Alvi of the Congress Party. This is what he said. This is what he has said about where he was asked a question on the Delhi Gymkhana. Listen to him.
Some important persons of the country, so-called VVIPs, who were close to Prime Minister and Bharatiya Janata Party, have been rejected. They had applied for the membership. So now Gymkhana will face this critical time. Rahul Gandhi, I am told, is also member of Gymkhana Club, and I think it is sufficient ground to demolish and to take over the land of Gymkhana. If Rahul Gandhi is the member of that club, how can BJP tolerate it?
I don't know if Rahul Gandhi is member or not, but who's saying this? Rashid Alvi, veteran Congress leader, Ashwini ji. He says because Rahul Gandhi is a member, the government wants to take away the land. Is he a member? I'm asking you.
For coming to me after 42 minutes. I think I've taken a strong objection to one point you made, that you cannot speak for the BJP. I think you can very well do that. And you have been doing that for the last 42 minutes. That's the reason we don't have a BJP spokesperson in the panel. Having said that, Pranesh, in initial monologue of itself, you forced on the word lease, but you never explained the word perpetual. It is a legal issue. What we are
Sir, आप law में ना जाएं तो अच्छा है, Ashwini ji. You know, for that I have Ojasvi. You answer the question. Is Rahul Gandhi a member? Is this the reason?
That BJP should tell, is this the reason? Because BJP is not
How
here.
How can BJP say if Rahul Gandhi is a member or not? Is Rahul Gandhi a member of this club? If yes, for, what services that he rendered to the country?
Pranesh, again, I think that questions should be asked to the Gymkhana committee. They have the members list. I don't publicly have the member list of all the members of that club. Having said that, my point to make here is that why are you giving it an emotional twist that this is for defense? There's an ample land.
Emotional? This is about national security, Ashwini Mishra. What are you saying? The national security requirement are an emotional issue for you.
No, you are making it an emotional issue, which is where it's a legal issue. It's a legal issue. Legal issue. People are fighting here because of perpetual license, and that has to be treated.
Sir, even Ojasvi is not saying what you are saying, and he happens to be, an advocate. वो इस केस में involved हैं. आपको उनसे ज़्यादा पता है. Ojasvi, please take Ashwini Mishra after the show. Get him on a call, and get him to appear also. But you lose the case if he appears. You are not answering my question, Ashwini ji. Why are netas not speaking in one voice? They should say whatever it is. If it is about national security, no questions asked.
No questions asked. Illegally, you can take any land, and you think we should not ask the government. And if we ask the question to the government, we become anti-national.
This is not beyond me. I can't. Dr. Ranganathan, Tushar.
Who owns that land? How is it illegal? Ashwani Mishra should sometimes, for once, for a change, do his research and come on national debates. The government taking back its own land is illegal. What kind of nonsensical logic is this? What kind of nonsensical logic? The government is saying we need it for security reasons. आप कह रहे हो emotional reason है. आपको security और emotion का फर्क नहीं पता. Lease और ownership का फर्क नहीं पता. और फिर आप debate करने आते हैं.
Dr. Ranganathan?
But you know what I fear, although I hope it doesn't happen, what will happen is that government might backtrack because a lot of people who are in the government also are angry at what has happened. I hope Modi ji does not buckle and this goes forward, but I doubt it. I think the government is going to take back its order.
Ojasvi, if that happens, then, you know, then it's party time for all of you. Ojasvi, do you think the government does not have a case here?
I'm sorry, is that for me?
Yeah, do you think the government does not have a case here?
See, the point here is that the term public security cannot be thrown around randomly. There are multiple Supreme Court judgments which say that objectively it must be shown the assessment made on what basis they think it's required for public security, and B, as I said earlier,
national security, as you know, Jasvi, and you know, I hope you know, national security requirements, like I said in the beginning, the government, do you expect the defense minister or the national security advisor to hold a briefing for the honorable members of the Gymkhana Club that look, where the swimming pool stands right now, there will be a, you know, a boiler room, usme kuch experiment hoga, etc., etc. Does it work like this, Ojasvi?
I am just reiterating what the law is. A, the term the Supreme Court, you can question me, but you can't question the Supreme Court. The Honorable Supreme Court in multiple judgments has said that the term public security cannot be thrown around randomly. And B, as I said earlier, a notice by itself is not sufficient. A notice giving 2 weeks of period to vacate the land is by itself not sufficient. They have to follow the adequate due process under law. They have to file a suit before the adequate court. Only then can the Gymkhana Club...
No, on procedure, I am with you. You know, whatever procedure there is, that must be followed. Dr. Ranganathan disagrees. Yes.
Yeah, I'm sorry. How is it being thrown around randomly, my good friend? This is bordering the Prime Minister's residence and office. Which area in India would you want to be more secure? I am aghast.
During the Prime Minister's residence for 70 years, and 3 years back, this same government filed an application before the NCLT seeking control over the management of the company. 3 years back, they didn't feel the security threat. Now, all of a sudden,
no, 1 minute. Oh, just because something, there was no threat, you know, 3 years ago, does not mean there can't be threat today. I hope you realize what you're saying, Tushar.
I also do not think that the government is obligated to explain its security reasoning. I think this is where a lot of representatives of the club are getting it wrong. The government is under no obligation to explain to the private club why it needs the land. Are you telling me that the government will hold a briefing and say, "Isi tennis court ke niche banega nuclear bunker"? This is what the club members are expecting. I mean, how on earth can you expect the government to explain what its security reasoning is, what they intend to do with the land? Do they want to
Dr. Joshi, very quickly, sir, we'll have to wrap.
Yeah, just wrap it up because, you know, Dr. Ranganathan have repeated the same point that I was initially mentioning, that the government is going to backtrack because of the elite nature of the membership of the club. And that is why when I questioned that why there is no spokesperson, because we suspected and we doubted.
Well, let's see if the government backtracks, then they will have to answer that question. You know, this Mazboot Sarkar, etc., the claims, tall claims, everything will be put on test. We've completely run out of time. Gentlemen, thank you for joining us. The last word on this is yet to be spoken.